Hello, everyone. Today we are going to delve into the story The Cookie Lady, which is written by Philip K. Dick. So, we're going to discuss the entire story in depth and also discuss the various themes in the story towards the end of this video. So, this is a chilling story that gives us a reminder that appearances can be deceptive. We have to keep our desires in check, otherwise, it could be detrimental to us. It also explores other themes such as exploitation of innocence, how loneliness and isolation can be harmful, and also how simple and kind gestures can actually hide a lot of sinister and dangerous motives in a world where people are selfish. So we'll discuss the themes in detail later. First, let's go to the line by line explanation. Where are you going, Bubba? Ernie Mill shouted from across the street, fixing papers for his route. So maybe Ernie Mill was a newspaper seller. So he was arranging his newspaper and he's asking Bubba, where are you going? No place, Bubba Surlu said. You're going to see your lady friend. Ernie laughed and laughed. What do you go visit that old lady for? Let us in on it. So he's telling, oh, you're going to meet that friend of yours, isn't it? Please share the secret, reveal the secret. That is the meaning of let us in on it. It's an idiom. Bubba went on. He turned the corner and went down Elm Street. Already he could see the house. At the end of the street, set back a little on the lot. The front of the house was overgrown with weeds, old dry weeds that rustled and chattered with the wind. So, rustled means the sound that is made by dried leaves. So, the way the house is described shows neglect, abandonment, or being ignored. House itself was a little grey box, shabby and unpainted. The porch steps sagging. There was an old, weather beaten rocking chair on the porch with a torn piece of cloth hanging over it. Okay, so weather beaten means that is damaged by weather. That means through different weather conditions like rain, sunlight, it had been damaged. So, by the description of this, it shows that the woman who lives there has profound loneliness. She's isolated from the society. So there's a kind of eerie or you can say chilling feel to the description of the house. Bubba went up the walk, and as he started up the rickety steps, he took a deep breath. So the meaning of the word rickety means something that is unsteady or very likely to collapse. So the house is in a very neglected and dilapidated state that is completely deteriorated because the house was unkept or unattended. He could smell it, the wonderful warm smell, and his mouth began to water. So he started salivating when he could smell the warm smell of cookies. His heart thudding with anticipation, Bubba turned the handle of the bell. The bell grated rustily on the other side of the door. So the bell was also rusted. There was silence for a time, then the sound of someone stirring. So sound of someone stirring means finally there was sound of some movement. Mrs. Drew opened the door. She was old, very old. A little dried up old lady, like the weeds that grew along the front of the house. So she's compared to the weeds that grew along the front of the house, means again she was also neglected by other people. She smiled down at Bubba, holding the door wide for him to come in. You are just in time, she said. Come on inside, Bernard. You are just in time. They are just now ready. So Baba went to the kitchen door and looked in. He could set them resting on a big blue plate on top of the stove. Cookies, a plate of warm, fresh cookies right off the oven. Cookies with nuts and raisins in them. How do they look? Mrs. Drew said. She rustled past him into the kitchen, and maybe some cold milk too. So rustled means make a soft, light sound. So she moved past him and said she offered him some cold milk as well to go along with the cookies. What do cookies really show? They show warmth, comfort, and a kind of temptation, isn't it? It's so delicious. But in reality, Mrs. Drew is using these cookies for false comfort, for manipulation, and to trap or lure him to come to her house. How do they look? Mrs. Drew said. She rustled past him into the kitchen and maybe some cold milk too. You like cold milk with them? She got the milk pitcher from the window box on the back porch. Then she poured a glass of milk from him and set some of the cookies on a small plate. Let's go into the living room, she said. Baba nodded. Mrs. Drew carried the milk and the cookies in and set them on the arm of the couch. Then she sat down in her own chair. So we can get to know that Baba is a very innocent child and he can easily be lured by sweet treats. Watching Baba plop himself down by the plate and began to help himself. So he started eating. Baba ate greedily as usual. So he was a greedy child, intent on the cookies, silent except for chewing sounds. So he was very determined. He really wanted the cookies. He was greedy and he hastily ate the cookies. Mrs. Drew waited patiently until the boy had finished, and his already ample sides bulged that much more. So, if you see, he is a very healthy kid, and his sides bulged out or stuck out, and after eating, he bulged out a little more. So, this shows that the boy has unchecked desires. He is not able to control his desires. When Baba was done with the plate, he glanced towards the kitchen again at the rest of the cookies on the stove. So he wasn't satisfied. He wanted more. Wouldn't you like to wait until later for the rest? Mrs. Drew said. All right, Baba agreed. How are they? Fine. That's good. She leaned back in her chair. Well, what did you do in school today? How did it go? All right. The little old lady watched the boy look restless around the room. Bernard, she said pleasantly, won't you stay and talk to me for a while? So he came for the cookies. He had a few cookies, and when she asked him to wait, he was started feeling restlessness. He had some books on his lap, some school books. Why don't you read to me from your books? You know, I don't see too well anymore, and it's a comfort to me to be read to. So, because she's so old, she cannot see properly, and she's saying that it's a comfort when someone reads to me. So he asks, can I have the rest of the cookies after? Of course. So he is restless for the cookies. And she's like, yes, you can have them after some time. Baba moved over towards her to the end of the couch. He opened his books, World Geography, Principles of Arithmetic, and Hoyte's Speller. What do you want? She hesitated. The geography. Baba opened the big blue book at random. Peru. Peru is bounded on the north by Equator and Colombia, on the south by Chile, and on the east by Brazil and Bolivia. Peru is divided into three main sections. These are first, The little old lady watched him read, his fat cheeks wobbling as he read, holding his finger next to the line. She was silent, watching him, studying the boy intently as he read, drinking in each frown of concentration, every motion of his arms and hands. She relaxed, letting herself sink back in her chair. He was very close to her, only a little way off. There was only the table and lamp between them. How nice it was to have him come. He had been coming for over a month now, ever since the day she had been sitting on her porch and seen him go by and thought to call to him, pointing to the cookies by her rocker. So she's intently watching him with all concentration and looking at his fat cheeks wobbling and all his features. Now, finally, she relaxed because he was sitting quite close to him, but there was a table and a lamp between them. So she had used the cookies as a bait to lure him to come to her house. And that is how he has been now coming to her house since a month. So initially, when we look at the old woman, she seems very innocent, who just seeks connection. But now, slowly, the story is moving towards a pace where we can feel the sinister motives of the old lady, where she purposely sits on the porch, uses these cookies to allure him to come into her house. Why had she done it? She did not know. She had been alone so long that she found herself saying strange things and doing strange things. So, this shows that she was isolated. She had a solitary life. She had no companions, and because of that, she was losing her mind, or she was estranged now. She saw so few people. Only when she went down to the store or the mailman came with her pension check or the garbage men. So she rarely met people. She rarely had any kind of human interaction. The boy's voice droned on. So, droned on means spoke for a long time in a very dull and monotonous manner. She was comfortable, peaceful, and relaxed. The little old lady closed her eyes, folded her hands in her lap, and as she sat dozing and listening, something began to happen. The little old lady was beginning to change, her gray wrinkles and lines dimming away. As she sat in the chair, she was growing younger, the thin, fragile body filling out with youth again. The gray hair thickened and darkened, color coming to the wispy strands. So, something that is lusterless and dull and very thin hair. So, all that started changing, and she had thick gray hair that was full of life. Her arms filled too. So, usually, when you grow old, you become thin and withered. But her now arms started filling too with flesh and muscles. The mottled flesh turning a rich hue as it had been once many years before. So, mottled means something that is of uneven coloration or patches on the skin. So, all that started changing and rich color came into her skin. So, her wrinkles, her dullness, her life that was slowly withering away was rejuvenated. And how was it rejuvenated? By absorbing Bubba's youthful aura. So, her initial intention to want someone come into the house was the reason why she asked Baba to come to her house. But now she realized that as he was spending time close to her, she could absorb his youthful aura and feel youthful again. Mrs. Drew breathed deeply, not opening her eyes. She could feel something happening, but she did not know just what. Something was going on. She could feel it and it was good. But what it was, she did not exactly know. It had happened before. Almost every time the boy came and sat by her, especially of late, since she had moved her chair nearer to the couch. So she did not know what, but she was feeling good. She was feeling energetic as she had moved closer to the boy. She took a deep breath. How good it felt! The warm fullness, the breath of warmth inside her cold body for the first time in years. So, since many years, she was feeling very dull. There was no warmth. It was a very cold and lethargic body. But now there was warmth in her body for the first time in many years. She started feeling something that she used to feel long ago. In her chair, the little old lady had become a dark haired matron of perhaps 30. So, matron is a dignified woman of mature appearance, a woman with full cheeks and plump arms and legs. Her lips were red again, her neck even a little too fleshy, and as it had been once in the long forgotten past. Suddenly, the reading stopped. Baba put down his book and stood up. I have to go, he said. Can I take the rest of the cookies with me? So, as she was feeling she was invigorated with energy, Baba felt something different. He suddenly stopped reading and he said, I want to leave. And he said, can I take the cookies with me? Because that is the reason why he had come to this house. And he requested to leave at once. She blinked, rousing herself. So she was in a good state where she was enjoying her youthfulness. But when he suddenly interrupted her, she was now alert. The boy was in the kitchen filling his pockets with cookies. So he had his stomach full. Now he was filling his pockets with all those cookies. She nodded, dazed. She was confused, still under the spell. So something wonderful had happened to her. She was in that dazed situation. The boy took the last cookies. He went across the living room to the door. Mrs. Drew stood up. All at once, the warmth left her. She felt tired, and very dry. So that was only for a moment. So momentarily, she felt good and youthful. But as the boy was leaving, the warmth also left. She caught her breath, breathing quickly. She looked down at her hands, wrinkled and thin. So she was back to her former self. Oh, she murmured. Tears blurred her eyes. So she became very emotional. Oh, I enjoyed that phase where I was youthful again. But now I am back to the weary old self. It was gone. Gone again as soon as he moved away. She tottered to the mirror above the mantel and looked at herself. Old faded eyes stared back, eyes deep set in a withered face. Gone, all gone, as soon as the boy had left her side. I'll see you later, Baba said. So, the meaning of the word tottered means move unsteadily due to weakness. And deep set eyes means eyes that are sunk deep. So, this part shows that the old lady has the fear of aging, decay, and death. And she's having her renewal at the cost of someone else's life. So, this is a universal truth that we all fear aging and death. But here, the old lady is also quite selfish, where for her renewal and rejuvenation, she is absorbing the youthfulness of the boy, and it is coming at a cost. Please, she whispered, please come back again. Will you come back? So she's desperate now. Sure, Baba said listlessly. Listlessly means without any energy. He's also tired because she had drained a considerable amount of his energy. He pushed the door open. Goodbye. He went down the steps. In a moment, she heard his shoes against the sidewalk and he was gone. Baba, you come in here? May Surly stood angrily on the porch. You get in here and sit down at the table. All right, Baba came slowly up on the porch, pushing inside the house. So slowly again, this shows that he still has not regained his energy. What's the matter with you? She caught his arm. Where have you been? Are you sick? I am tired, Baba rubbed his forehead. His father came through the living room with the newspapers in his undershirt. What's the matter? He said. Look at him, May Surly said, all worn out. What have you been doing, Baba? So the parents have also been oblivious to the fact that he has been going out and this has been happening for a month. So there is a lack of parental guidance and supervision that has been seen. He has been visiting that old lady, Ralph Surley said. Can't you tell? He's always washed out after he's been visiting her. What do you go there for, Bub? What goes on? She gives him cookies, May said. You know how he is about things to eat. He'll do anything for a plate of cookies. So, washed out means pale, weak, or exhausted. So the parents know that he is driven by powerful, unchecked desires. That is, if he gets the cookies, he is ready to go to any extent to eat them. Bub, his father said, listen to me. I don't want you hanging around that crazy old lady anymore. Do you hear me? I don't care how many cookies she gives you. You come home too tired. No more of that. You hear me? So now the father strictly forbids him to go visit the old lady. Baba looked down at the floor, leaning against the door. His heart beat heavily but labored. It's struggling to breathe. I told her I'll come back, he muttered. You can go once more, May said, going into the dining room. But only once more. Tell her you won't be able to come back again, though. You make sure you tell her nice. Now go upstairs and get washed up. So the parents have told him that he can go one last time and say that he will never be coming back again, and also to inform in a nice manner. So here it is pretty apparent that the greed that the boy had blinded him from the signs of his own decline. He was drained out of energy, but still he was so greedy for the cookies that he did not notice the signs of his own decline. That is what happens to us when we are too greedy. We don't see the obvious signs around us. After dinner, better have him lie down, Ralph said, looking up the stairs, watching Baba climb slowly, his hands on the banister. So, banister means the railings. He shook his head. I don't like it, he muttered. I don't want him going there anymore. There's something strange about that old lady. Well, it'll be the last time, he said. So now they realize that there is something strange and they forbid him from going there. But one last time so that he could say goodbye to her. Wednesday was warm and sunny. Bubba strode along, his hands in his pocket. He stopped in front of McWan's drugstore for a minute, looking speculatively at the comic books. So, speculatively means in a very inquisitive manner, he started looking at the comic books. At the soda fountain, a woman was drinking a big chocolate soda. The sight of it made Bubba's mouth water. That settled it. He turned and continued on his way, even increasing his pace a little. So as soon as he saw the big chocolate soda, He could not control his urges. He's like, no, that's it. And he, in a very fast manner, was moving towards the old lady's house because his greed and desire was dragging him towards his own downfall. A few minutes later, he came up on the grey, sagging porch and rang the bell. Below him, the weeds blew and rustled with the wind. It was almost 4 o'clock. He could not stay too long, but then it was the last time, anyhow. So it was 4 o'clock. He had to get back home. So he's like, anyway, I'm not going to stay for long. I'm just going to have the cookies and say goodbye. The door opened. Mrs. Drew's wrinkled face broke into smiles. Come in, Bernard. It's good to see you standing there. It makes me feel so young again to have you come visit. He went inside, looking around. I'll start the cookies. I didn't know if you were coming. She padded into the kitchen. I'll get them started right away. You sit down on the couch. So, padded means walk quietly and softly. The old woman was very excited to see him because she would again feel youthful with his visit. Baba went over and sat down. He noticed that the table and the lamp were gone. So, if you remember in the beginning of the story, there was a table and a lamp that separated the old woman and the boy. But now that distance was gone. The chair was right up next to the couch. He was looking at the chair in perplexity when Mrs. Drew came rustling back into the room. So, he was looking at the chair in a confused and worried manner when Mrs. Drew came in, rustling back into the room. They are in the oven. I had the batter all ready. Now, she sat down in the chair with a sigh. Well, how did it go today? How was school? Fine. She nodded. How plump he was, the little boy, sitting just a little distance from her, his cheeks red and full. She could touch him. He was so close. Her aged heart thumped. So she's yearning for the youthfulness, the the red cheeks that is full of life and vigor. Ah, to be young again. Youth was so much. It was everything. What did the world mean to be old when all the world is old, lad? So she's like, when you become old and withered, there is no life left in you. You are isolated, you are ignored. But it is so wonderful to be youthful. Do you want to read to me, Bernard? She asked presently. I didn't bring any books. Oh, she nodded. Well, I have some books, she said quickly. I'll get them. She got up, crossing to the bookcase, and she opened the doors. Baba said, Mrs. Drew, my father says I can't come here anymore. He says that this is the last time. I thought I'll tell you. She stopped, standing rigid. Everything seemed to leap around her, the room twisting furiously. She took a harsh, frightened breath. So now she was scared. She was like, if you're not going to come here any longer, then I'm not going to feel youthful again. I'm not going to have that energy. Bernard, you're not coming back? No, my father says not to. There was silence. The old lady took a book at random and came slowly back to the chair. After a while, she passed the book to him, her hands trembling. The boy took it without expression, looking at its cover. Please read, Bernard, please. All right, he opened the book. Where shall I start? Anywhere, anywhere, Bernard. So she was desperate now. He began to read. It was something by Trollope. So Trollope Anthony is an English novelist in the Victorian era. She only half heard the words. She put her hand to her forehead. Her dry skin, brittle and thin, like old paper. So, how is old paper? Very brittle, can easily be broken. Very thin, fragile. She trembled with anguish. The last time? Oh, is this the last time? Then what shall I do? Baba read on, slowly, monotonously. Against the window, a fly buzzed. Outside, the sun began to set, the air turning cool. A few clouds came up, and the wind in the trees rushed furiously. So, before when he was coming, it was a very sunny day. If you remember, the day was explained as to be warm and sunny. That means full of life. But now, slowly, the air is turning cold. The sun is begin to set, and few clouds have come up. The wind is rushed furiously. So something sinister is going to happen. Something evil is going to take place. Old lady sat close by the boy, closer than ever, hearing him read, the sound of his voice, sensing him close by. Was this really the last time? Terror rose up in her and she pushed it back. She was scared now. The last time she gazed at him, the boy sitting so close to her. After a time, she reached out her thin, dry hand. She took a deep breath. He would never be back. There would be no more times, no more. This was the last time he would sit there. So, this illustrates the dark side of human desire and selfishness. She is now driven by selfish desires that she's ready to suck the life out of that boy just so that she can feel better. She touched his arm. Baba looked up. What is it? He murmured. You don't mind if I touch your arm, do you? No, I guess not. So it shows he was innocent. He went on reading. The old lady could feel the youngness of him flowing between her fingers through her arm. A pulsating, vibrating youngness so close to her. It had never been that close, where she could actually touch it. The feel of life made her dizzy, unsteady. And presently it began to happen as before. She closed her eyes, letting it move over her, filling her up, carried into her by the sound of the voice and the feel of the arm. The change, the glow was coming over her. So, again, the glow of youthfulness, the warm, rising feeling. So, she was always feeling cold, but now the warmness was inside her. She was blooming again, filling with life, swelling into richness as she had been once long ago. So now she was feeling vibrant again. She had the vitality inside her. She looked down at her arms, rounded they were, and the nails clear. So before her nails were broken, brittle, dull, but they were clear now. Her hair black again, heavy and black against her neck. She touched her cheeks. The wrinkles had gone and the skin was pliant and soft. So pliant is again soft and supple. So it was not dry and withered. Joy filled her, a growing, bustling joy. She stared around her at the room. She smiled, feeling her firm teeth and gums, red lips, strong white teeth. Suddenly she got to her feet, her body secure and confident. She turned a little lithe, quick circle. So she was feeling graceful and she took a quick circle. She turned around once. Baba stopped reading. Are the cookies ready? He said. I'll see. Her voice was alive, deep with a quality that had dried out many years ago. So life was back into her. Now it was there again, her voice, throaty and sensual. So throaty means that is deep and slightly rough. She walked quickly to the kitchen and opened the oven. She took out the cookies and put them on top of the stove. All ready, she called gaily. Gaily means very cheerfully. She was happy. She got what she wanted. Come and get them. Baba came past her, his gaze fastened on the sight of the cookies. He did not even notice the woman by the door. So he was so transfixed at the cookies that he did not even notice that the old woman had changed. Mrs. Drew hurried from the kitchen. She went into the bedroom, closing the door after her, because now she had completely transformed into a youthful woman. Then she turned, gazing into the full length mirror on the door. Young. She was young again, filled out with sap of vigorous youth. So, the liquid of vigorous youth. She took a deep breath, her steady bosom swelling. So, as you get old, the bosom begins to sag, but here again, she had a swelling bosom. Her eyes flashed and she smiled. She spun, her skirts flying, young and lovely. So, she was full of life. She was really happy. Her selfish desires were fulfilled, and there was no regret that it came out of someone else's life. And this time it had not gone away, so it was permanent. She opened the door. Baba had filled his mouth and his pockets. He was standing in the center of the living room, his face fat and dull, a dead white. So all the life, the richness, the redness, the vigor was all drained out of him. What's the matter? Mrs. Drew said. I'm going. All right, Bernard, and thanks for coming to read to me. She laid her hand on his shoulder. Perhaps I'll see you again sometime. My father? I know. She laughed gaily. She was very happy. She said, I know. Happily, she said, opening the door for him. Goodbye, Bernard. Goodbye. So, if we can, we'll see you sometime. But if you're not coming back, it's okay because her selfish desires were fulfilled now. She did not want him anymore. She watched him go slowly down the steps, one at a time. Then she closed the door and skipped back into the bedroom. So now she was full of energy. She could skip back into the bedroom. She unfastened her dress and stepped out of it. The worn grey fabric suddenly distasteful to her. So now, because she was young, the worn grey fabric that she wore was distasteful to her. So now she was young. She hated that old withered self. So that shows how people do not want to accept the reality of life. They don't want the old age or the changes that comes along with it. For a brief second, she gazed at her full rounded body, her hands on her hips. She laughed with excitement, turning a little, her eyes bright. So her grey eyes were now full of life and bright. What a wonderful body, bustling with life, a swelling breast. She touched herself. The flesh was firm. There was so much, so many things to do. She gazed about her, breathing quickly. So many things. She started the water running in the bathtub and then went to tie her hair up. So now she was obsessed with this youthful body of hers. So trudging is walking slowly with heavy steps because of exhaustion. It was late. The sun had set and the sky overhead was dark and cloudy. The wind that blew and nudged against him was cold and it penetrated through his clothing, chilling him. So now, since his youthfulness was gone, he was feeling cold. The boy felt tired, his head ached, and he stopped every few minutes rubbing his forehead and resting, his heart laboring. He left Elm Street and went up Pine Street. The wind screeched around him, pushing him from side to side. He shook his head, trying to clear it. How weary he was! How tired his arms and legs were! He felt the wind hammering at him, pushing and plucking at him. He took a breath and went on, his head down. At the corner, he stopped, holding on to a lamp post. The sky was quite dark. The street lights were beginning to come on. At last he went on, walking as best as he could. So he was so worn out and weary that he could hardly walk. He had to take breaks in between to even breathe. His breathing was labored, and the wind was pushing him in every direction. "Where is that boy?" May Surly said, going out on the porch for the 10th time. So they are anxious now because he has not come home. The sun has set, it is getting dark. Ralph flicked on the light and they stood together. What an awful wind! It is so windy now. The wind whistled and lashed at the porch. The two of them looked up and down the dark street, but they couldn't see nothing but a few newspapers and trash being blown along. "Let's go inside," Ralph said. "He sure is going to get a licking when he gets home." So they're like, "We'll go inside and wait, but when he comes, he has to pay the price for it for coming late." They sat down at the dinner table. Presently, May put down her fork. "Listen, to hear something?" Ralph listened. Outside, against the front door, there was a faint sound, a tapping sound. He stood up. The wind howled outside, blowing the shades in the room upstairs. "I'll go see what it is," he said. He went to the door and opened it. Something grey and dry was blowing up against the porch. So his life was gone. So that is why they're showing it that there was something grey color carried by the wind. He stared at it, but he could not make it out. A bundle of weeds and rags blown by the wind, perhaps. So the old woman in the beginning of the story was compared to the old weeds that were outside a house, and now he had become that. A bundle of weeds and rags blown by the wind, perhaps. The bundle bounced against his leg. He watched it drift past him against the wall of the house. Then he closed the door again slowly. "What was it?" May called. "Just the wind," Ralph Surly said. So Mrs. Drew had completely drained out his life and youth, and he was left as a lifeless shell behind. So when Ralph dismisses that it is just the wind, it shows how easily people can be blinded by truth when they don't look beyond the surface. So the story by the end is very terrifying and chilling because the security that the reader is lulled into in the beginning of the story is changed into unease and terror. So now let's go into the themes in this story. So the first theme is obsession with youthfulness and vanity. What is vanity? Looking beautiful. The story highlights how some people are so desperate to look young that they can go to any lengths to reverse the aging process. The story delves into the human fear of aging and illustrates the dark side of human desire and selfishness, where fulfilling one's wishes has come at the cost of someone else's life. How we can be so blinded by vanity that we do not feel any guilt for fulfilling our desires that has come at the cost of someone else's vitality or life. The next is exploitation of innocence. The old woman uses cookies as false comfort and temptation to manipulate the boy to visit her home. Hence, his trusting nature and love for cookies lured him and made him an easy prey for Mrs. Drew's selfish needs. So the boy was very naive and very trusting, and the old woman or Mrs. Drew used that as the bait for him to come into her house and lured him through cookies. The next is appearances can be deceptive. In the beginning, the old lady seemed like someone who was lonely, harmless, and only seeking human connection. But in reality, she was a selfish lady who just wants to drain out the youth and energy of the young boy so that she could transform into a young lady full of vitality. So, appearances can be deceptive. Next, excessive desire can be dangerous. Isn't that true? We should never be greedy. The boy's irresistible craving for the cookies and the greed for them blinded him to the signs of his own decline. So, as he kept visiting every month, he was feeling weak and tired, but the cookies blinded him to the fact that he was not noticing his own decline. He was so blinded by the greed that he was willing to endure the unsettling visits and fatigue just for the sake of few sweet treats. Also, Mrs. Drew was driven by an uncontrollable desire to feel her youthfulness and vitality that she exploited an innocent child for it. So she also had excessive desire that was unchecked. This story is a powerful reminder that overwhelming desires can lead to exploitation, self destruction, as well as destruction for others. And people can go to any limits to satisfy their immediate satisfaction than any long term consequences. So he wanted to satisfy his immediate desires and cravings that he ignored the long term consequences of it. The next is loneliness and isolation. Mrs. Drew is elicited is shown as an old woman who is profoundly lonely, who has been neglected and isolated by the society. She is desperate for human connection and companionship and is not and is provided by comfort just by the boy's presence. Therefore, it was not just her need to be youthful, but her deep need for human connection that led her to draw out life from the boy. It was a tragic price that the boy had to pay. So, initially, it was because she was lonely, she was isolated, she had very few human connection that she wanted to meet him. So, that was one of the major reason why she wanted to be youthful again. The next is parental blindness. The parents of the boy kept misinterpreting and ignoring the visible signs that the boy was constantly worn out and drained. So, for a month it had been going on, but they did not pay much attention. They dismissed the signs of mere fatigue and the influence of cookies. The inability to see the true picture showcases parental ignorance and shows us that how easily people can be blinded by the truths when they only look at it from the superficial level. So this was a wonderful story and I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please share this video among your friends, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe immediately. Thank you. God bless.